Hi everyone, Barry Brooksby here. Today we're going to be looking at how to get lifetime income without stock market risk or losses using guaranteed annuities. We're going to go through 4 individual case studies. We're going to look at a SPIA example, which is a single premium immediate annuity, a MIGA, that's a fixed annuity, an FIA, which is a fixed indexed annuity, and then finally we're going to look at a fixed indexed annuity with an income rider. This is guaranteed lifetime income. Now, some of you might be thinking, Barry, why do I need an annuity? I've heard that annuities are garbage. Don't ever get an annuity. And frankly, there are a lot of really bad annuities out there I don't recommend. But the 4 we're looking at today all have guarantees. That's what you're looking for in an annuity. You want guarantees. What is the number one fear of pre-retirees and retirees today? What is it for you? It's the fear of running out of money. A lot of people have said, I might have too much life to live and not enough money to live that life. We don't want to run out of money in retirement. The way that we help against that is with a guaranteed annuity, and you're going to see the details here in a minute. But first, look at the headlines. Retirees are most likely to outlive their savings. U.S. News, CNBC, USA Today. What happens if we all run out of money for retirement? Danger ahead. Are retirees running out of money? Why many retirees will run out of money? The popular solution hasn't worked. And what that popular solution is called is the 4% rule, the Monte Carlo 4% rule. It simply means that you can take 4% distribution from your investment account and live off of that for income. So if you have $1 million, 4% of $1 million is $40,000 a year. But the Monte Carlo 4% rule is broken. And here are some things that are being said about the 4% rule. Kiplinger, Money, the New York Times, USA Today again. The 4% rule, no more. New math for retirees and the 4% withdrawal rule. Retirees ditch the 4% rule. They hoard savings instead. The 4% rule is not safe. The 4% rule in retirement is broken. And the 4% rule will ruin your retirement. So between the headlines and what others are saying about the 4% rule, we see that it's broken. When you look at the Monte Carlo 4% rule, what it says is that if you withdraw 4%, you have about a 75% chance of not running out of money. Those chances still aren't very good. If you withdraw less, say 3% in retirement, you have about a 95% chance. Well, if you have $1 million, 3% is only $30,000 a year to live off of. That's not a lot of income considering you're sitting on $1 million. Well, it gets worse. If you withdraw 5%, you have about a 45% chance of success. And if you withdraw 6% or more, you're down into the 10% range of having success. Well, there's a solution for this, where you can use guaranteed annuities and guaranteed income so you don't have to deplete your investment accounts and potentially run out of money. The other issue, if you're sitting in the market, stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, you're dealing with fees, you're dealing with volatility, and there are no guarantees in your stock market accounts. Why an annuity? Because of guaranteed income and higher withdrawal rates. You're going to see what we look at today is higher than 3%, higher than the 4% Monte Carlo rule. And you never run out of money in a guaranteed annuity. This is what retirees want. Think about it. If you're a pre-retiree getting ready to retire, whether you're 2 years away or 5, 6, 7 years away, what's going to give you more peace of mind in your retirement is guaranteed income. And that guaranteed income, you can't outlive it. That will come through an annuity. We also call these annuities a self-created pension. And that's powerful. You're able to control the dollars. You're able to get the income that you desire. Income annuities are a way for you to protect your assets and guarantee a lifetime income that you can't outlive. Here's our first case study. This is on a 70-year-old male. He's putting $1 million into a SPIA. SPIA stands for Single Premium Immediate Annuity. The income will start within 12 months. It can start in 30 days, it can start in 6 months, but the income must start within 12 months. Let's look at the numbers. We're showing $1 million going into this SPIA. This 70-year-old male is able to receive $7,286 every month for the rest of their lives, which translates to an 8.74% distribution rate. So if you take the 7,286 and times it by 12, that's where we're getting $87,400 a year. And this is guaranteed lifetime income that this 70-year-old cannot outlive. What happens if they spend and enjoy $500,000 and there's $500,000 left over? Well, it's possible to have that additional money go to a beneficiary, a family member, a spouse, etc. There are different ways to take income from a SPIA. Could be a single life, could be a joint life, could be a cash refund or an installment refund. What we're looking at today, 8.74% distribution rate, more than double the 4% Monte Carlo rule. You can see here, more income. This person is not going to deplete their stock market portfolio. They can roll money into the annuity and have this payout for the rest of their lives. Our second case study is on a 40-year-old female, and she's going to put $100,000 into a MIGA. It's a multi-year guaranteed annuity. It's a fixed annuity. And there's a guaranteed rate of return for 5 years, and after the 5 years, she can take the money out. She can roll into another annuity. It's completely liquid after the 5-year time frame. Here's the $100,000 that she puts in. And for these 5 years, she's earning a guaranteed 5.3% rate of return. You see the growth here in the accumulated value. And this is a compound interest number, meaning her 5.3% interest, the $5,300 that she earned in the first year, gets added to the accumulated value. And now the entire balance is earning 5.3 interest. That's compounding. These annuities do have surrender charges. Sometimes the surrender charge is 5 years, sometimes it's 10 years. You want to look at the surrender charges and then understand if you take money out before the surrender time frame, there could be a little bit of a loss. And you see this here in the cash surrender value, that if she shut down her 5-year annuity in the second year, she's only going to get back $100,351. But at the end of 5 years, starting year 6, you see that the accumulated value and the cash surrender value are equal. Those surrender charges go away. In our third case study, we're looking at a 50-year-old male putting $1 million into a fixed indexed annuity. And the income start date is flexible, or they don't have to take income. This person could choose to take the lump sum and do something else with it. The money is tied to an index. The index can go up and down in value, but you never lose money. So if the index makes money, in this case, we're showing a very conservative 5.11%, you make the 5.11%. If the index makes more money, you could do better than that. But if the index loses money, the floor on this annuity is 0, meaning you don't have any losses, but you don't make any money that year. So you would grow, stay level if there's a loss, grow again if the index performs. And that way, you're no longer subject to the stock market losses. You'll make money in the annuity, but there will be some years if the index loses, you won't have a return because your floor is zero. But overall, this is principal protection of your money because you'll never have a loss in the annuity. This particular annuity has a 7-year surrender charge. You'll notice here in year 7 that the accumulated value is $1.34 million. The surrender value is $1.31 million. But then when we get to year 8 and the surrender charges are gone, the accumulated value of 1.49 and the surrender value equal 1.49. This base benefit amount of 1.4 million only comes into play if the person who owns the annuity dies. If they die, the beneficiaries will get the million. And I'm just showing year 1. Obviously, it grows over time. But if the beneficiary chooses to take installments over 5 to 10 years, then they have a pool of money that they can pull from of 1.4 million, not just the million. That's what the benefit base is. In our final case study, which personally, this is one of my favorites, we're looking at a 55-year-old female putting $1 million into a FIA, but this FIA, the fixed indexed annuity, is a little different. It has a bonus rider attached to it, which means there will be a substantial amount of income that's being bonused in the annuity for this particular client. And we're going to be looking at guaranteed lifetime income in this annuity as well. Here we have the $1 million that she's putting into the FIA with the income bonus rider. The way this works is there is an income base of money. And on this income base of money, she automatically is going to get a first year 20% bonus. So day 1, her $1 million turns into 1.2 million. Years 2 through 20, she then gets a 10% bonus, which means $100,000 is added to the income base for those years. 1.4 million, 1.5 million, 1.7, etc. If she then chooses to take income, let's say at the age of 65, that $1 million has turned into 2.2 million in the income base account. And now she can take guaranteed lifetime income from the 2.2 million. What's the distribution rate? Well, it's not 4% like we saw with Monte Carlo or less. It's 6.45%. If you take 6.45% of the 2.2 million, that's $141,900 of guaranteed lifetime income. And if she reaches $1 million that she put in, the insurance company will continue to pay her the $141,900 a year. What if she reaches the 2.2 million? She lives long enough, exhausts all 2.2 million. What happens? The insurance company will still pay her $141,900 per year. This is guaranteed lifetime income that she can't outlive. And she gets to choose the year to start taking the income. I usually recommend after the age of 59 and a half, starting at 60 or later, because if you have qualified money, let's say you have an old 401k or IRA and you roll that money into an annuity, it's a tax-free rollover. But you can't start taking the income out until you're older than 59 and a half. If you try, you'll not only pay the tax, but you'll pay an early withdrawal penalty of 10%. When you take the income from a qualified annuity, again, rolling the 401k, rolling the IRA, you'll only pay tax on the money you take out in the given year for income. Depending on your state, this annuity also has an enhanced income benefit where they will double your income. And this is for things like a long-term care need, critical illness, terminal illness, chronic illness. That is state specific. We would want to look at your own numbers and situation. When you're considering the annuities, what we're talking about here is peace of mind, guaranteed lifetime income in most cases, and flexibility. You'll notice the longer she waits, the more money she gets. If she waits until the age of 70, not only has the income base grown to 2.7 million, so also has the distribution income percentage. Now she would be receiving over $184,000 a year. That's guaranteed lifetime income that she can't outlive. Because this annuity is a FIA, fixed indexed annuity, it also has a bucket of money that participates in an index, just like we saw earlier. So this annuity has two buckets of money, the income bucket of money and the indexed bucket of money. You get to choose which bucket you want to go with, but you don't have to make the decision now. You can make that decision when you're ready to start taking income, or if you want a lump sum payout, that's also a flexible option. Things to be aware of. Surrender charges we talked about. There are companies out there that might have 12 to 15 years of surrender charges. I've seen some even longer. There are other penalties or fees in some annuities you want to be aware of. Cap rate and participation rate adjustments, meaning how much of the index returns do you get? Those are called cap rates and participation rates. And variable annuities without guarantees, I simply tell people to stay away from. When you choose the right annuity, you're getting guaranteed growth, guaranteed income, tax-favored money. You lock in your gains. There's no direct downside market risks or losses. It is, as I said, a self-created pension. There are some long-term care benefits depending on the state you live in. And you can get 30 to 50% more spendable income. Don't get locked in to the 3 or 4% Monte Carlo rule. You've seen very clearly here, the income amounts are much better than that, even double in some cases. When you have the right annuity, you'll have more peace of mind. You'll have the ability to plan your future better. You'll have a better retirement, and guaranteed lifetime income will enhance everything overall, not only in your portfolio, but in your life. Look at your own annuity numbers. You can email us, you can call us, you can visit our website, InsuranceandEstates.com. Looking at your own numbers and dialing into your goals, that'd be the next step, and see how an annuity would work for you.